The NHTSA database doesn't lie. Right now, if you search General Motors SUVs in the federal complaint system, you'll find something that should stop every GM buyer cold. Hundreds of thousands of documented complaints. Owners describing the same failures, same mileage, same symptoms, same dealer response. We're not seeing that problem. GM sold 3.2 million SUVs in the last 4 years. A significant portion of those owners discovered something the showroom never mentioned, that several of these vehicles carry known, documented, unfixed problems that GM's own technical service bulletins acknowledge internally while dealers deny externally. 12 GM SUVs, 12 documented failure patterns. Here's exactly what they won't tell you. Number 12, Chevrolet Traverse, 2018 to 2023. A family in Ohio bought a 2020 Chevrolet Traverse for $42,000 as their primary family hauler. At 47,000 miles, the transmission started shuddering between 25 to 40 miles per hour. The dealer ran diagnostics. Official response: operating as designed. 3 months later, the transmission failed completely. Repair estimate: $6,800. GM Goodwill Assistance: $0. That family's experience is documented 2,847 times in the NHTSA complaint database. The Traverse's fundamental problem lives in its 9-speed automatic transmission, a unit so problematic that GM issued TSB 19-NA-124, acknowledging shudder concerns, while simultaneously instructing dealers to tell owners the behavior was normal operating characteristics. Owners who pushed back discovered the TSB existed only through independent research. Dealers weren't volunteering the information. The 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, available on lower trims, compounds the problem. Carbon buildup from direct injection requires $800 to $1,200 walnut blasting every 40,000 miles. Timing chain stretch appears at 80,000 to 100,000 miles, requiring $3,000 to $4,500 repairs. The 3.6-liter V6 on higher trims carries its own AFM lifter failure risk at 60,000 to 80,000 miles, identical to Silverado failures documented in class action, Spearley versus General Motors. Consumer Reports gives Traverse below-average predicted reliability across these model years. NHTSA complaint volume places it among the most complained about 3-row SUVs in America. GM's internal TSBs acknowledge these issues exist. Their dealer network is trained to minimize them. Current owners facing transmission failure are discovering that operating as designed means exactly nothing when the transmission stops operating entirely. But Traverse transmission failures can't match what GM built into their mid-size crossover platform. Number 11, GMC Terrain, 2018 to 2023. A mechanic in Georgia describes his shop's relationship with the GMC Terrain with specific numbers. We rebuilt 14 Terrain engines last year. Average mileage at failure, 52,000. Average repair cost, $7,200. Every single one had the same cause: oil consumption destroying the engine from the inside while owners had no warning. 14 engines, 1 shop, 1 year. The 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder in the Terrain consumes oil at rates GM's own documentation acknowledges as acceptable, up to 1 quart every 2,000 miles. The problem: GM's oil life monitoring system tells owners to change oil every 7,500 to 10,000 miles. Owners following that schedule are driving 5,000 to 8,000 miles on dangerously low oil. Bearings run dry, engines seize. NHTSA complaint database shows 3,400 plus documented failures with identical descriptions. Class action lawsuit Sloan versus General Motors, filed in federal court, documented the 1.5-liter engine oil consumption defect systematically, alleging GM knew about the problem before production began and sold vehicles anyway. GM's response was a TSB recommending more frequent oil checks, not an engine fix, not a recall, not an acknowledgement of defect. The Terrain shares this platform with the Chevrolet Equinox, meaning GM built the same problem into 2 separate nameplates simultaneously. Consumer Reports flags below average reliability for both. Current sweet spot for avoiding this disaster. Check oil every 1,000 miles if you own one. Better advice, research alternatives before purchasing. But Terrain's oil consumption disaster can't match what GM put in America's best-selling compact SUV. Number 10, Chevrolet Equinox, 2018 to 2023. The Chevrolet Equinox is one of America's best-selling SUVs. GM sold over 300,000 annually during this period. That volume makes what happened next particularly significant. The 1.5-liter turbocharged engine powering the majority of these vehicles was consuming oil so aggressively that engines were destroying themselves before 50,000 miles. While GM publicly maintained there was no defect. 5,200 plus NHTSA complaints tell a different story. One Florida owner described her experience at 38,000 miles. Oil light came on during school pickup. Called dealer. They said, bring it in tomorrow. Engine seized that night in a parking lot. Dealer said I hadn't checked oil frequently enough. GM said the same. Nobody mentioned I was supposed to check oil every 1,000 miles in a brand new vehicle. Class action lawsuit Sloan versus General Motors documented that GM's engineers identified the 1.5-liter oil consumption defect during pre-production testing. Internal documents showed engineers flagging the concern. Management approved production anyway. The piston rings designed to control oil consumption were undersized, a cost decision with catastrophic consequences for owners who followed GM's own maintenance guidance. GM issued a TSB recommending more frequent oil level checks as the official fix. Not an engine redesign, not a recall. A reminder to check the oil more often in a vehicle that shouldn't be consuming excessive oil in the first place. Consumer Reports rates Equinox below average reliability across these years. Current Equinox owners check oil every 1,000 miles regardless of GM's recommendations. But Equinox engine destruction can't match what GM delivered in their full-size flagship family SUV. Number 9, Chevrolet Suburban, 2021 to 2024. The Chevrolet Suburban has been America's family hauler for 90 years. Police departments, military convoys, presidential motorcades. The nameplate carried genuine working credibility earned across decades of documented reliability. Buyers paying $60,000 to $80,000 for a 2021 to 2024 Suburban were purchasing that legacy. GM delivered something different. The 5.3-liter V8 and 6.2-liter V8 powering current Suburbans carry active fuel management systems with documented lifter failure rates that GM acknowledged through TSB 19-2345, the same technical service bulletin covering Silverado and Sierra failures. The hydraulic AFM lifters collapse at 60,000 to 80,000 miles with mechanical certainty, sending metal debris through the oiling system. Class action Spearley versus General Motors documented the defect. Repair costs run $4,500 to $10,000 depending on damage extent when owners finally receive diagnosis. 2,900 plus NHTSA complaints document. Suburban owners experiencing sudden engine noise, oil pressure warnings, and complete engine failures at mileages that would have been routine maintenance intervals on previous generations. One Montana ranch operation bought 3 2022 Suburbans for property transport. All three developed AFM lifter noise between 64,000 to 71,000 miles. GM dealer response. Inspection required $180 diagnostic fee before any warranty consideration, then partial coverage offers that left owners paying $2,400 to $3,800 out of pocket. The nameplate hasn't changed. The reliability underneath it has, significantly. Aftermarket AFM delete kits at $800 to $1,200 disable the system. Owners shouldn't need aftermarket surgery on a $75,000 vehicle, but Suburban AFM failures can't match the identical problem in their premium counterpart. Number 8, GMC Yukon, 2021 to 2024. Here is GM's most straightforward admission that badge differentiation is purely cosmetic. The GMC Yukon and Chevrolet Tahoe share every mechanical component. Same 5.3-liter V8, same 6.2-liter V8, same AFM system, same 10-speed automatic, same documented failure patterns. The Yukon costs $4,000 to $8,000 more than an equivalent Tahoe, GMC charges a premium for the same problems. 3,800 plus NHTSA complaints on Yukon models document AFM lifter failures, transmission shudder, and fuel system concerns at mileages owners describe as premature for vehicles at this price point. One documented owner complaint from the NHTSA database captures the frustration precisely. Paid $72,000 for a Yukon Denali. At 68,000 miles, lifter failure. Dealer quoted $7,400. GM offered $1,500 goodwill. I paid $5,900 out of pocket on a vehicle I still owe $31,000 on. The 10-speed automatic transmission adds another documented failure layer. Shudder complaints between 20 to 45 miles per hour, affecting both Yukon and Tahoe owners identically. GM's TSB addressing the shudder recommends fluid replacement as the primary fix. Many owners report the shudder returning within 10,000 miles of the prescribed fluid change. Consumer Reports rates GMC Yukon below average reliability across these model years. Identical rating to the Tahoe, because identical engineering produces identical outcomes regardless of the badge on the tailgate. The Yukon Denali promises premium. The mechanical reality underneath delivers Tahoe-level problems at Denali-level prices. But Yukon's premium disappointment can't match what GM quietly installed in their iconic large SUV. Number 7. Chevrolet Tahoe, 2021 to 2024. A Dallas police department tracks fleet maintenance costs with precision that private owners rarely apply to their personal vehicles. Their 2021 to 2022 Tahoe fleet, purchased specifically because previous generations were workhorses, started showing AFM lifter failures at average 71,000 miles. Fleet maintenance records show per-vehicle repair costs averaging $6,200 for the AFM-related failures. The department's fleet manager documented everything and submitted detailed complaints to both GM and NHTSA. Their documentation is among 4,100 plus NHTSA complaints on record. The 5.3-liter V8 and 6.2-liter V8 in current Tahoes carry AFM systems GM's own TSB 19-2345 acknowledges as problematic. The same TSB covering Silverado, Sierra, Yukon, and Suburban failures simultaneously. One TSB, multiple nameplates, the same failure pattern across GM's entire full-size lineup. When a technical service bulletin covers this many vehicles with identical symptoms, it stops being a coincidence and starts being a design decision. The 10-speed automatic adds documented shudder complaints. The independent rear suspension, new for the 2021 redesign that buyers celebrated, introduced rear shock absorber failures appearing at 40,000 to 60,000 miles, requiring $800 to $1,400 per corner. The electrical system added infotainment freezing and backup camera failures documented across thousands of owner complaints. GM sold the 2021 redesign as a revolutionary improvement. Owners discovered the revolution included new ways for their expensive truck-based SUV to require expensive repairs. That Dallas fleet manager's recommendation: specify AFM delete in any GM fleet purchase going forward. But Tahoe's documented failures can't match what GM delivered in their luxury brand's flagship. Number 6. Cadillac Escalade, 2021 to 2024. A real estate developer in Los Angeles bought a 2022 Cadillac Escalade for $102,000. At 31,000 miles, the massive OLED curved dashboard display developed dead pixels across the lower section. Dealer diagnosis: screen replacement required. Cost: $3,800 for the display unit plus $1,200 labor. Total: $5,000 to fix a screen on a vehicle, still making $1,800 monthly payments. GM's response: outside warranty coverage period. The Escalade's centerpiece technology, the 38-inch curved OLED display spanning driver and passenger zones, is simultaneously its most impressive feature and its most documented failure point. 1,800 plus NHTSA complaints on 2021 to 2024 Escalades include display failures, infotainment freezes requiring system reboots while driving, and complete screen blackouts. The magnetic ride control suspension fails at $600 to $900 per corner. The same AFM lifter concerns affecting Tahoe and Suburban exist in the 6.2-liter V8 Escalade because it's the same engine. Consumer Reports rates the Escalade below average reliability based on owner-reported data across infotainment, suspension, and powertrain concerns simultaneously. For a vehicle starting at $80,000 and reaching $150,000 in Escalade ESV Platinum trim, that reliability rating represents a significant value proposition failure. One independent Cadillac specialist described the current Escalade with professional honesty. The technology is genuinely impressive when it works. The problem is how often it doesn't, and how much it costs when it stops. The Escalade communicates success at every price point. The repair bills communicate something different entirely. But Escalade screen failures can't match what GM's entry luxury brand delivered to first-time Cadillac buyers. Number 5. Cadillac XT4, 2019 to 2023. The Cadillac XT4 was supposed to attract younger buyers to the Cadillac brand, a compact luxury SUV priced to compete with the BMW X3 and Mercedes GLC. GM invested heavily in marketing the XT4 as proof that Cadillac could compete in the most competitive luxury segment. First-year sales were promising, then the ownership experience began. The 2.0-liter turbocharged four-cylinder powering every XT4 developed a documented failure pattern that Consumer Reports flagged immediately. Timing chain failures at 40,000 to 60,000 miles, requiring $3,500 to $5,500 repairs. The 9-speed automatic transmission exhibited shudder behavior identical to the Traverse because it's the same unit. 1,900 plus NHTSA complaints document engine failures, transmission concerns, and electrical issues that owners describe as incompatible with luxury expectations at any price. GM issued multiple recalls on the XT4 across these model years. Fuel system, electrical, safety system concerns arriving in quick succession. One Georgia owner described receiving her 4th recall notice in 18 months on a vehicle with 28,000 miles. I bought a Cadillac because I thought I was buying reliability. I've spent more time scheduling recall repairs than actually enjoying the vehicle. The BMW X3 and Mercedes GLC that XT4 competed against received average or above average reliability ratings from Consumer Reports during the same period. The XT4 received below average. GM brought a reliability deficit to a reliability competition. Current XT4 owners face the compounding frustration of luxury pricing with mainstream reliability outcomes. But XT4 disappointment can't match the luxury SUV one size larger that carries identical problems at higher prices. Number 4. Cadillac XT5, 2017 to 2023. A Chicago attorney bought a 2019 Cadillac XT5 for $54,000 as her daily driver. At 58,000 miles, the engine developed a distinct ticking noise on cold starts. Dealer diagnosis, timing chain wear, repair estimate, $4,800. The attorney researched the failure and discovered 2,100 plus NHTSA complaints, documenting identical symptoms at nearly identical mileage across XT5s nationwide. She filed her own complaint, then filed suit. The 3.6-liter V6 in the XT5 is GM's volume luxury engine, the same unit powering Camaro, Colorado, Traverse, and multiple Cadillac models simultaneously. The timing chain tensioner design allows chain slack under specific cold start conditions, causing accelerated wear that GM's own engineers documented in internal communications, revealed through litigation. TSB 17-N A-379 acknowledges timing chain concerns and recommends specific oil viscosity, but doesn't acknowledge the tensioner design as the fundamental cause. The 9-speed automatic transmission adds documented shudder complaints. The infotainment system freezes, requiring full reboots at frequencies owners describe as unacceptable. The stop/start system, designed to improve fuel economy, generates vibrations and engagement shudder that multiple TSBs address without permanently resolving. Consumer Reports rates XT5 below average reliability consistently. For a vehicle positioned against Lexus RX and BMW X5, both receiving above-average reliability ratings, the XT5 brings luxury pricing to a reliability conversation it consistently loses. That Chicago attorney's class action research revealed GM had warranty data showing timing chain failures clustering at specific mileage intervals before the first complaint was ever filed publicly. But XT5's timing chain concerns can't match what GM's re-entry into mid-size SUVs delivered. Number 3, GMC Acadia, 2017 to 2023. Fleet managers at corporate transportation companies learn quickly which vehicles generate service calls. A national property management company operating 40 GMC Acadias across their regional offices tracked every service event for 3 years. Their finding: Acadias generated 2.3 times more unscheduled service events than the Toyota Highlanders operating in the same fleet under identical conditions. Their data mirrors what 3,200 plus NHTSA complainants documented independently. The 3.6-liter V6 in higher trim Acadias carries the timing chain tensioner concerns documented across GM's 3.6-liter applications. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder in base models develops its own documented issues. Oil consumption at rates that accelerate engine wear when owners follow GM's extended oil change recommendations. The 9-speed automatic produces the shudder pattern appearing across every GM product using this transmission unit. One Acadia owner's NHTSA complaint describes the ownership arc with specific dates. Purchased October 2019, first transmission shudder complaint, March 2021 at 41,000 miles. Dealer response operating normally. Second complaint, September 2021. TSB discovered through independent research. Fluid replacement performed, shudder returned. January 2022, transmission replacement at 67,000 miles costing $5,400 with partial GM coverage. 18 months, 2 dealer visits, 1 TSB, 1 transmission replacement, $5,400 out of pocket. Consumer Reports gives Acadia below-average predicted reliability. That property management company replaced their Acadia fleet with Highlanders at renewal. Their service call frequency dropped immediately. The Acadia competes in the most competitive 3-row SUV segment. Its competitors bring reliability. GM brought TSBs. But Acadia's 3-row problems can't match what's been happening inside GM's brand new 2024 replacement. Number 2, Chevrolet Blazer, 2019 to 2024. The Chevrolet Blazer name carried genuine American automotive heritage, a body-on-frame off-road icon that built a loyal following through decades of capable, simple engineering. GM revived the nameplate in 2019 on a completely unrelated front-wheel drive car-based crossover. The decision was marketing strategy over engineering integrity, using a beloved name to sell an unrelated product. Owners who remembered the original Blazer weren't the only ones disappointed. 4,800 plus NHTSA complaints on the 2019 to 2024 Blazer document failures that span the entire vehicle. The electrical system generates ghost warning lights, random system shutdowns, and infotainment failures requiring dealer resets. The brake system received a 2023 recall affecting 140,000 vehicles for brake fluid contamination that could cause brake failure. Not reduced braking, complete brake failure. The 2.0-liter turbocharged engine carries carbon buildup and timing concerns shared across GM's turbo lineup. One Texas owner described her 2021 Blazer RS experience without editorializing. In 2 years, I've had the infotainment replaced, the brake recall completed, a transmission fluid service for shudder, and 2 separate electrical issues causing warning light clusters. I have 38,000 miles. My previous car was a 2015 Toyota RAV4. I drove 112,000 miles with oil changes and tires. Consumer Reports gives Blazer below-average predicted reliability and has declined to recommend it across multiple consecutive model years. The brake recall covering 140,000 vehicles for a defect that could cause complete brake failure represents a safety concern that transcends reliability ratings entirely. GM borrowed the Blazer name. They didn't borrow the Blazer's reputation for building it properly. But Blazer's borrowed name and documented failures can't match the compact SUV platform affecting the most GM owners. Number 1. GMC Terrain, 2018 to 2023. Here is the number that should appear in GM's next annual report under Decisions We Regret. 5,200 plus NHTSA complaints on the Equinox alone, 3,400 plus on the Terrain, and a class action lawsuit documenting that GM's own engineers identified the 1.5-liter turbocharged engine's fundamental oil consumption defect before the first vehicle was sold. This isn't a manufacturing variance. This is a documented design decision with documented consequences. The 1.5-liter engine controlling piston rings were undersized relative to the cylinder bore, a cost reduction that GM's pre-production testing flagged as causing excessive oil consumption. That testing happened. Those engineers filed reports. Management approved production. GM sold approximately 400,000 vehicles with this engine configuration between 2018 to 2023. The combined complaint, recall, and documented failure population across both nameplates comfortably exceeds 380,000 affected owners. Owners who follow GM's oil life monitoring system, which recommends changes every 7,500 to 10,000 miles, were driving 5,000 to 8,000 miles on critically low oil. The monitoring system wasn't designed around the engine's actual consumption rate. Bearings failed. Cylinder walls scored. Engines seized at 35,000 to 60,000 miles on vehicles still making monthly payments. GM's official response was a TSB recommending more frequent manual oil level checks. Not an engine redesign, not a recall. A reminder to check the dipstick more often on a modern vehicle with an electronic monitoring system specifically designed to eliminate that task. One Oklahoma owner's NHTSA complaint summarizes the experience with exhausted precision. Engine seized at 41,000 miles. Dealer said I didn't check oil frequently enough. GM said the same. I followed their app's recommendations. Nobody told me the app was wrong for this engine. Nobody told me until the engine was dead. Class action Sloan versus General Motors is ongoing. GM has not issued a recall. The 1.5-liter engine continued in production for years after the complaint pattern became statistically undeniable. 380,000 plus owners already know what dealers won't tell you. Now you do too. 12 GM SUVs, one consistent pattern, known problems, internal acknowledgement through TSBs, and dealer networks trained to minimize owner concerns until warranties expire. The Equinox and Terrain engine crisis, the Blazer brake recall, the Tahoe and Suburban AFM failures, the Escalade screen destroying itself at 31,000 miles. Hit subscribe. Drop your GM experience in the comments.